Huh. It ended early. Like, it still was running at the end for some reason. So I had a timer set, and I looked over, and the screen was black, and I was like, oops. Hi, everybody. I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show, where we watch old 16mm films. And that last film was some glorious home movie footage that was shot at home, and ended with a wonderful Kodachrome 4th of July neighborhood parade, with kids and their bikes and the tricycle. There was this one girl who was diligently, like, on her tricycle, like, going like that. It was really quite nice. I feel like I participated in something like that when I was a kid. A distant memory of it. And some little neighborhoods do it. In Durham, I remember they used to have one. But what a wonderful way to celebrate our country's birthday. There's some problems. We're going to work through some of these problems. Things aren't the best they've been, but we'll get through it along with your help. So, anyways, I'm glad you're joining us today. I know that some of you have the day off, thanks. We're going to go ahead and get started with the reason for the season. It's a Cornet film called Our Living Declaration of Independence. Enjoy.
I arrived. Carl had been watching it with his wife, Bertha, and his daughter, Marjorie.
Hello,
Marjorie?
Mr. Hart, how are you?
Grand parade, wasn't it?
Well, for
Oh, biggest ever. And Charles and Philip, so handsome.
Oh, now, Father.
So a man cannot be proud of his own sons? Humbug. We always try to have our children home for every holiday.
Excuse me, Mr. Hart, but I must start supper. The boys will be hungry.
Why, certainly.
You'll stay, of course.
Well, thank you, but
Oh, of course he'll stay for supper.
I'll help. If I need you, I'll call. You stay here and see that Father doesn't flatten Mr. Hart's ears.
Flatten his ears. Humbug. Sit down, Ronald. Sit down.
Thank you.
Now then, as you were saying.
Well, about this celebration today,
Yes.
why do we have it? Do we know what it means? Or is it possible that our Declaration of Independence is a thing of the past that no longer has any meaning for us?
No meaning. Why, it has all meaning. It means our country, our freedom, our dignity as men, our very life.
Yes, Father. Those are noble words. We use them quite a bit. But can we be more specific?
You be specific. It is you have gone to college. It is you have teaching school.
Well, perhaps that's why I'm interested in learning more.
Well, let's put it this way. Where would we be today if there had been no Declaration of Independence?
I know where we would be if we had no Declaration of Independence. I was there. You know, of course, that I am an immigrant.
Yes.
In the old country, my father was a peasant farmer. The land was good. The crops were good. Our friends were good. These friends, too, were peasants. And their parents, and their grandparents, and their ancestors, as far back as anyone knew. Now, the children would be peasants, and the children's children, and the grandchildren. We were peasants eternally. Up on the hill, there was a castle, a grand castle, centuries old. And as old as the castle was the name of the family that lived there. They were nobles, and the castle was theirs eternally. You cannot know what it means to have your life decided for you before you are born. And the reason you cannot know is that in 1776, the Declaration of Independence said it was wrong. And the Declaration still says that it is wrong. Will you come inside?
Certainly. But since your life was so set over there, what are you doing here? How did you break away?
This is how much the Declaration of Independence means to me. I keep it close to me now because once it was so far away, hardly more than a dream. Back in the old country, we heard tales about the Declaration of Independence, about this land where wealth was plentiful and living was easy. These tales were told for generations. In each generation, some men would break their ancient chains of bondage and fight their way into the new world.
And have you found your plentiful wealth? Your easy living?
I found no streets paved with gold. I have worked hard all my life. But I am comfortable. I am a free man. My children are free. Here comes the parade.
Hail the conquering hero!
Hello, Sergeant.
How are you? Glad to see you. Hello, Mr.
Charles. How was the parade?
Oh, fine. Oh, yeah, that's me. Main Street gets longer every year.
Oh, you're my boy.
Hello, Mother.
Could you help hearing them?
Hi, Mom.
Well, boys, you've come in on a very interesting conversation.
Conversation. Monologue is more likely.
Please, Mrs. Hasselman, this is important to me. Your husband is helping me to a new understanding of the Declaration of Independence.
You see?
Oh, well, I meant only.
Try marching in the parade. Then you'll understand it.
How do you mean, a new understanding?
I'd always thought of the Declaration as, well, as a statement of separation from England.
Oh, but it's so much more than that. Well, I mean...
Speak up, Marjorie. Let us hear what you teach the youngsters in school.
Well, if Mr. Hart would really be interested in what I have
I'd
to say.
certainly be interested.
Well, I like to think of the Declaration of Independence as a fourfold document. It is, as you say, first of all, a declaration of separation. It begins when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and later declares that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown. Second, it is an appeal to the sympathies of the world. The colonists recognized and wrote that a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. Third, it is a battle cry, calling upon the men of the colonies to rise up and defend their rights, mutually pledging to each other their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. Finally, as written by Thomas Jefferson, it is a brilliant statement of an ancient doctrine of the rights of man. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
Thank you. You've helped me find the answer to my question.
She understands.
Excuse us, we must look after supper. But please speak loudly. We wish not to miss what you say.
Now, you speak of a country founded on those principles.
Yes.
The question is, what does it mean today? Now, your daughter's first point was that the Declaration of Independence was a declaration of separation. I grant you that we're all affected by that. If we were still subjects of the British Crown or even of the British Empire, we might all live differently in some ways.
Probably no more differently than our Canadian neighbors live today.
But no, they too might be living quite differently if there had been no Declaration of Independence.
How so?
Recall Marjorie saying that it was also an appeal to the sympathies of the world. It helped bring on the French Revolution. It inspired men everywhere to demand their rights, in England, in South America. And look at me. Did it not reach out across the ocean and transform me from a peasant into a free man? And look at my children, these fine boys, Marjorie and the others, you know them, consider the priceless treasure of freedom that is their birthright.
They're right, yes, but also their obligation.
Ah, true. Obligations and duties must always come before rights. This was so even with the Declaration of Independence itself. The men responsible for it, they held a profound sense of duty to themselves, to their families, and to their neighbors.
Say, Dad.
Yes?
May I say something?
But of course, Philip.
It's funny, but I am beginning to understand something. In the Guard, they talk about it being our job, our duty to guard the heritage of freedom. They tell us our freedom was won in battle, and it's taken several wars to protect it. And the main reason we're in the Guard is to be ready to defend it again if we have to.
So you, Philip, are one of today's Minutemen, and the Declaration of Independence is still a battle cry.
And were it not for the Declaration of Independence, my boys instead might fight and die, so that some king or dictator might extend his tyranny over several million more peasants.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense now. You know, I'm sort of glad I marched in that parade. Oh, with freedom or no freedom, my dogs are really barking.
Mine feel great. So what? But aren't all these things really summed up in the fourth point Marjorie made? That the Declaration of Independence is a statement of the rights of man.
You are right, son. That is why I came to the United States, where the Declaration of Independence gave birth to a government whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed. A government which assures us our right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah. Okay, Dad. Are you happy? Am I happy?
I am. You can be. As I understand the pursuit of happiness, it means the right of each individual under law to seek his own highest good according to his own understanding and ability, while tolerating and trying to understand the ways of others in doing the same.
That makes sense. And it helps explain this idea that all men are created equal. Now, anybody knows that all men are not born alike. Take the job I'm on. I'm supervising this house building job for Mr. Hinman. I've got all sorts of men working for me. No two of them are alike. Some are hard-working, some are lazy. Some are smart, some are dumb. No, they aren't born alike. But they're born equal under the law and before God, with equality of opportunity. Now, they're not equal in wealth. Some have more money than others. None of them has as much money as the man they're building this house for. Neither do I, for that matter. But there's nothing to stop me from making it. And I mean to do it. You see, Mr. Hart, I went to college, and I'm still learning every way I can, on the job, out of books. I'm going to have my own construction company, a big one. And if it grows too big for this town, I'll move to a bigger town. I'm going to be somebody.
Well, Mr. Hart, how's that for the son of an immigrant, huh?
I believe you'll do it, too.
Not me. One big businessman in the family is enough. The only time I'm happy is when I'm working on cars. I'm going to be a mechanic, but the best in town.
Do you see what freedom has done for these children of a peasant farmer? One a businessman, one a mechanic, one a school teacher, and
one a bus driver, and 2 more farmers.
and they own their own farm.
Supper's ready.
You see, all equal, each free to seek his own highest good according to his own understanding and ability.
And each free to think his own thoughts, I can tell you.
Oh. What are we going to have for supper, huh?
Oh, you hungry?
Well, that's how I found a new angle for my story on the 4th of July celebration. And I found a great deal more. I found new meaning in the Declaration of Independence and in our celebration. I found living proof that it is not a dead historical document, but like the Bible, a vital force and a guide to our living today. I decided to challenge my readers, as I now challenge you. What does the Declaration of Independence mean to you? How is your life better because of the Declaration of Independence? In what ways do you live and act and think only because there is a Declaration of Independence? How is the hope of the entire world brighter because of the Declaration of Independence?
Yeah. They lay it on pretty thick. But, you know, the way I look at this is when we look at educational films, especially ones that deal with our country and democracy, this is more aspirational than it is documentary. In that this is what we're aspiring towards. And so this is the way I view films like this. This is what we're aiming towards, and sometimes we falter, sometimes we go down the wrong path, we as a country, and so we just have to hold people accountable. I mean, that's one part of this is obligations that we as citizens have, and so we have to get back involved, and we have to get back on the path towards having beautiful wallpaper patterns behind us, in a chinsely framed Declaration of Independence hanging in our living room. It's glorious. And I'm happy. I'm kind of happy that I walked in that parade. Although, boy, my dogs are killing me. Or my dogs are barking. Is that what he said? I can't remember. But I love that. I love when people call their feet dogs. Okay. Anyways, so behind me, I have a film scanner. So we're going to watch a film. I wonder what it's going to be about. Enjoy.
are still some magnificent square-rigged sailing vessels left in this world, and on this July 4th, 1976, most of the tall ships still under sail are parading into New York Harbor. The United States Coast Guard vessel, the Eagle, is leading the greatest parade of tall ships in more than a century, Operation Sail 76, celebrating the bicentennial of the United States. The tall ships have sailed to America from 15 countries around the world. Preparations for Operation Sail began more than a year ago in many nations. This is Holland. The Italian tall ship Amerigo Vespucci on its way to a European gathering of tall ships in Amsterdam. In London, England, tall ships gather on the Thames under Tower Bridge. From the North Sea to the coasts of Spain, tall ships that will compete in races on the way to Operation Sail 76 are doing some hard training under captains who like to win. Captain Kjell Torsen of the Norwegian tall ship Christian Radich. Captain Hans von Stackelberg of the German tall ship Gorsch Fock. Captain Ivan Schneider of the Russian tall ship Krusenstern. Captain Patrick Collis of the British ship Sir Winston Churchill. Captain Franco Sargioni of the Italian ship Amerigo Vespucci. Captain Jurkiewicz of the Polish ship Dar Pomorza. These captains compete fiercely, but they share the same visions from a great past. Of majestic sailing machines that use the human strength of crewmen to capture superhuman power from the wind. Of the art of driving the great square-rigged ships faster by driving crewmen harder, pressing sails and men as far as they dare.
I was a little bit afraid to get the very young boys up there night. I called voluntaries. I said, I'm not going to order anybody up there. I want to have voluntaries. And I want to tell you that I got 3 times as many as I needed to go up there and to do this hard work in wintertime, in a gale, force 12 at night with rain. These boys, they are waiting for something to happen to prove themselves. So the sailing ship is not an ordinary work for money. It is something else.
Captain von Stackelberg is putting out to sea from Kiel, Germany, to train a new crew that has never before sailed the Gorsch Fock.
Indem du sie ganz kurz zusammenholen.
It is manpower applied to a capstan that raises the anchor. It takes nearly 200 men in teams pulling together to raise the sails and get the Gorsch Fock underway.
Hol auf! Und erstmal mit dem Zeisig festhalten so. Ja, da kommt er schon, Jawohl, gut, okay. Und raus damit. So sind wir sagen, gut bisschen schon. Weiter, so viel, jawohl.
A new crew, The first day aloft in the rigging, trying to balance on a thin line, trying to solve puzzles, trying to absorb a barrage of commands. The first sail can be a shocking experience. And for a captain contemplating a transatlantic race, a thought-provoking one as well. Another kind of tall ship, another kind of captain. Captain Benson on the Denmark.
Benedici nella cadente notte il riposo del popolo. Benedici noi che per esso vegliamo in armi sul mare. Benedici. Per l'Italia!
The Italian tall ship, the Amerigo Vespucci.
Equipaggio allievi riposo. Equipaggio allievi attenti.
This hard work is done by the boys. Of course, it has to be done, but they like to do this work. The young man, he wants to prove himself. He wants to know, am I able to do it? Am I able to handle this ship?
Still got to work together, and if one boy falls down on his job, he's seasick, then the load falls on the others. The training goes on 24 hours a day, which is also why it makes sailors quicker and cheaper than any other way.
This is not a jolly trip, and I think to make them work hard is something they want. There's a challenge in that, to use their muscles. In our modern plastic world, they very seldom have the opportunity to do that.
Everybody wants to go up. First time, I was really scared because my position was on the top of the middle mast. I went up there and I got quite scared. I got sick. I didn't throw up, but I got sick in the stomach, and I changed down to the mast, further down. But now I'm used to it now, so I want to go back up, and I think it's okay if I go back up now. It's just like, you know, you're up there and you're standing on a rope, and you're just kind of free, and you're up there, you see everything, you feel the wind, you feel the sea. It's a fantastic feeling, you know. You feel kind of relieved. Just to stand up to myself and just look around and see how you're right in the middle of a big circle, looks like, and you see how the world is round.
This is Amsterdam, a celebration commemorating the founding of Amsterdam 700 years ago, with the largest assemblage of square-rigged sailing vessels the tall ship captains have ever seen.
What is the biggest number of sailing ships you've ever gotten together at once?
No, 9.
Yeah?
9 now. In
today,
Kilonia,
today 9. But in Operation Sail 76, I think about 20.
The Russian captain, Ivan Schneider.
Yeah, about 20.
In 72 it was.
76 looks like being the biggest gathering of international tall ships that we've ever seen. The Japanese, the Portuguese, the Indonesians, plus the Russians and the Poles, and plus, of course, the British ships and your own Eagle.
The Russians, the Germans, the British boat, just all of them, just a big mass of square riggers coming in New York Harbor.
Maybe the Romanian ship with the Portuguese ship with the Japanese, And in a town like New York, where you have all kind of people together, living together and cooperating together, I think it might be a very, very good ground to close up friendship and to get even more contact.
Now, from many of the nations whose ships helped open up the New World, tall ships are on their way to help celebrate the birth of the United States in revolution 200 years ago.
IBM. Interesting. Lots of wonderful pomp and circumstance with that. And it is people, we're talking about different songs and things. I would love to show you some Schoolhouse Rock, History Rock, or America Rock is what they were called. But guess who owns all those? ABC. And guess who owns ABC? Walt Disney Corporation. So, sorry. I would love to show them to you. The preamble is so good. The fireworks one, so good. But alas, they are locked away by the mouse. All right. So I was looking for fireworks safety films. I look on Internet Archive, and there's a bunch of up-to-date 2000 contemporary things with fire chiefs talking about the dangers of fireworks, but none of them were really that great. So we're going to go something that's kind of similar, where kids would find these out in the wild and assume that they were fireworks and then would blow themselves up. This is Don't Touch. Enjoy.
Well, that's the way we professionals use commercial explosives. They stray or they get stolen. And that can create situations like the one I'm asking you to watch right now. Then you'll understand why we pros are really concerned when explosives get into the hands of amateurs.
Ryder, this is the Sherman Blasting Company dispatcher. Do you read me?
Go ahead, this is Ryder.
That call about some kids finding a possible blasting cap is confirmed. Proceed to Maplewood Lane, Blast House. Name on the mailbox is Carlton. Notify us as to what you find. Will do.
No, Ed, I'm not going to let you go in there.
Bug off, will you? I am.
You can't go in there. It's too dangerous and risky.
You're imagining things, Rod. That thing I found, some kind of gadget to hook up to something.
No, it's not. It's a blasting cap, and it's dangerous. Don't you remember the poster in school?
Yeah, let's wait. He may be right. I didn't see any poster in school.
You were probably absent.
You remember any poster, Jeff?
Well, you know, I miss a lot that goes on in class.
No, it's mine. I know how to work.
Can't go in there.
Right. Think you're smart, don't you?
No, but I remember what the poster said. You want your hand blown off?
Hey,
I'll give you the key.
hey, stop. Come on, you made me rough.
Okay, fellas, who phoned the police?
He did. He's weird. He reads too much and has a crazy imagination.
Where's this device you thought might be a blasting cap?
It's there.
Where's the key? Stay back, fellas.
Was I right?
Yes, it's a blasting cap, an electrical one.
What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm gonna put it in this box where it can't hurt anyone if it does go off.
But what about you?
Oh, don't worry about me. I've been trained to handle explosives. That's why the police called me after you called them. Now, gangway, fellas.
Hey, what's going on?
Well,
Okay. I didn't see that warning poster, but either did Jeff.
Yeah, well, I miss a lot that goes on in school.
All right, look out, fellas, please. Like that.
Hey, cool, just like on TV.
Hey, there's some more here.
Oh, relax, son. Those are just dummy blasting caps. They don't have any explosive charge. We use them for safety education. See, I work for a company that makes blasting caps.
Hey, they look just like the ones I found, except they don't look dangerous.
Well, if you want to see just how dangerous they are, do me a favor and take that line from behind that television set and plug it in the garage for me. Thank you.
All set.
Okay, fellas. Just keep your eye on that television screen. Now, that's a baseball. Watch what a blasting cap can do to it. Here are some of the big and important jobs explosives have done. It's like digging the foundation for a skyscraper. Explosives were needed to widen the Panama Canal. That's the Grand Coulee job, enlarging the electrical production layout, and those are some of the blasting caps they used. That's a blast on the pit face of the Mesabi Range. Now watch this. I want you to see what a blasting cap could do to a human being. Well, imagine what it might have done if it went off in your hand.
Yeah, and I almost attached that to my radio battery.
Well, that probably would have set it off. So might improper handling, as I told you. That's why the message on these posters our industry sends out is very simple. Don't touch.
that's what it said on the one at school.
No, I remember it.
But why do you need so many different kinds of blasting caps?
For different kinds of blasting. Explosives are a vital tool. Explosives dug that deep foundation through New York City's solid rock. Explosives, well, for example, explosives have helped dam a river. They built that hydroelectric power generating station. Explosives deepened a waterway between two oceans. Explosives have done hundreds of fascinating jobs. And blasting caps like these are needed to make these explosives work.
But no one is building a damn more canal around here.
Over 100 million blasting caps are used every year. They're used for all kinds of work. We use them for mining, quarries, road jobs, public service works, all that sort of thing. Now, people who work with explosives are very carefully trained. They're people like me. We try to be very precise with ourselves, and in the use of all explosives, we keep a strict count. We try not to lose them. But sometimes, no matter how hard we try, they are misplaced.
How?
These explosives are stolen. Sometimes they're just abandoned or tossed away. But at any rate, we come across them in an abandoned miner's shack or prospector's shack years later.
How long?
Years later. And they're still dangerous.
Amazing, with 100 million in use each year, that more people like Ed don't find them.
Man, I sure was lucky that I really didn't get hurt.
You sure were lucky. And luckier still to have a friend like this guy who had the good sense to call the police. Well, I gotta be on, fellas.
Mister, wait. Could I have a poster?
Well, sure. Here, take one. Here, fellas, you take these. Now,
Thanks.
tack them up in school where the kids can see them and learn what blasting caps look like. Then if they find one, they'll be smart. And remember, don't touch.
Another film yet. I'm working on it. Give me just a sec. All right. Took too long to rewind. Anyways, yes, we've shown that one before. It was tacked on to a copy of a film called Explosives: Tools for Progress, and it's glorious. It's such a good film, especially when he's putting the blasting caps in the box, and they just seem to use as many library music stingers as they can to fill out the time. Anyway, so I'm threading up the scanner here for the next film, and bear with me. Hey, Nathan, thank you for the coffee. That's one way you can say thank you to 80 Geeks is buy us coffee, because we love coffee. We drink it. But we also use it to buy things like tape and new cans and new cores and things to kind of maintain the collection. So besides percolating our brains with caffeine, going to ko-fi.com/avgeeks is a way to help support 80 Geeks in other ways. Oh, crap. Hold on. So, there's always a tension issue with this scanner. All of them have tension issues, but this one is not so smart about how it handles tension. So, try it again. There we go. All right. This next film is another Cornet film. How about that? Sometimes that happens. This is Happy Birthday, USA. Enjoy.
There's going to be a party. A big birthday. It's a birthday party for the United States of America. You know, people have lived in this land for thousands of years. Maybe 20 from England, but he was also setting down some ideas about freedom that people had been dreaming of for a long time. All people are created equal. All people are born with certain rights that cannot be taken away. Government's job is to protect these rights, that a government gets all its power from the people. If the government doesn't protect their rights, the people have the right to change the government. So on July 4th, 1776, Congress passed the Declaration of Independence, and the United States of America was born. On every 4th of July, it's our birthday. And if it's your birthday, you have to have a party.
mind telling you that the image of George Washington washing a bunch of plates is something I never thought I would ever see. What a wonderful, weird film that is. 1975. So we were on the verge of, celebrating the bicentennial, and that Parade of Tall Ships was another film that was kind of around that bicentennial. And some great patriotism going on there. That last film certainly glossed over some facts, and certainly embraced some things that were like, nah, not quite. But you know what? The key to this is, let's celebrate our similarities. Let's team up. Things are not great right now, but we're going to get through this. But we can only get through this when we team up, and realize that our differences are incredibly petty and are often stoked just to divide us, and we need to come together. And I feel good in being able to join with you guys, and we probably don't meet eye to eye on every political issue, but there's certain things that we do enjoy and that we hold dear, and so let's celebrate those things together today. Thanks for tuning in. So great. I love it. People are like, why are you working on 4th of July? I'm like, I gotta do my show. So I did my show. Everybody have a great rest of your holiday today, or the rest of your day, and we'll be back again tomorrow on Tuesday. Everybody take care, and we will see you soon. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, etc. Take care. Bye.